It's early morning in the city. The streets are quiet, save for the faint clack of wooden clogs. The mud, half frozen, crunches softly under each step. That's how London begins to wake, with cautious movement, as if the city itself dreams on. Small fires glow behind casements. Bakers tend their ovens, coaxing warmth into the crisp air. Chimney pots release spiral whispers that mingle overhead, veiling rooftops in a pale hush. Gloucester ceases to sleep, men and women in their simple woolen gowns and cloak, bundling children in extra layers, preparing for the cold tasks of market and home. Cobblestones are slick. The bridges over the Thames allow morning mist to swirl. Long-necked geese move across shallow yards. A stable hand brushes horse haunches, her breath puffing like smoke in dim morning gloom. Everyone senses today something larger in the air. Not alarm, but a shift, traced in quiet glances and whispered words. Picture that market square now. A soft chorus of voices, gentle calls of green leaves and root vegetables. The merchants stand behind their stalls, pleased to trade soup bones and leeks, salted herrings and dried apples. A mother smooths her daughter's woolen dress, minding the chill near her neck. Everyone's breath misting in the cool air. In homes, cooking hearths glow. Pots clinking, kettle steam rising. Peppered broth cooking slowly, onions and roots softening. Fireside, a family might share a simple repast before the day's work, fading daylight replaced by glimmering hearthlight. Clothes are patched and thrifted, a pair of hands darning mittens, a small foot stained from play, a cloak brushed with frost. Every day is lived close to the elements. Warmth must be guarded, clothing layered. Even bedchambers hold warming bottles wrapped in cloths, tucked between sheets. And now, behind palace doors, daily life is hushed but charged with shadows. Secrets exchanged in candlelight, polite bows overshadowed by hidden glances. In this colder world of Tudor halls, Queen Catherine Howard and her once secret lover, Francis Dereham, moved in a fragile dance. Francis had been a familiar, that's what they called someone close yet not officially bound to the royal family. Their relationship began quietly, before her marriage to Henry VIII, and faded as Catherine became queen. Afterward, Francis moved quietly through court circles, respectful, watchful, but out of favor. Imagine dinners lit by low lantern flame, hot stews in pewter bowls, hard cheese and fresh bread, quiet laughter echoing along high carved beams. Francis might sip watered wine, observe the flicker of candlelight. He'd listen politely to jesters and courtiers, careful with every word. It's in one such hushed circle that whispers began, that old ties may become dangerous again. Rumors reached the king's ears. The court's expectancy thickened as Francis was detained, not for loud confrontation, but a discreet nighttime arrest. No clang of steel across the palace square, just gentle taps on doors and quiet footsteps in corridors. In a chilly courtyard, frost gathering on paving stones, Francis Dereham stood in a modest doublet that had seen better days. With courtier dignity, he allowed 2 guards to guide him. A hush fell as he passed. No shouting, just an understanding that an unspoken line had been crossed. And in Tudor justice, such lines were seldom forgiven. He was carried into custody. Quiet rooms, heavy wood doors, a hush that echoed louder than any shout. Days passed in low candlelight and silence. Then came the morning of the execution. Outside, London's breath frosted on air, tiny crystals forming on cloak sleeves, on cobbles. That morning, Tyburn hosted thousands, not in raucous glee, but with that stiff quietude of societal ritual. Commoners in wool wraps and hooded cloaks, leaning close to see the spectacle. Gentlewomen in velvet skirts, aristocratic men in fur-lined hats, all drawn like moths to the burned-out embers of a royal warning. The wooden stoutness of Tyburn's scaffold rose pale in the mist. Underfoot, snow and mud refused to choose a single texture. They melted into each other. A hush, not of grief, but of something closer to reverence. Always in Tudor minds, even punishment held a sacred logic. Francis emerged, walking in simple robe, no flourish, nothing regal, just a man, led through the prison gates into day's pale light. His feet, likely bare, pressed into synthetic mud, his breath visible. Walkers parted, creating a corridor wide enough to usher him without crowding, a hushed passage. His eyes may have held calm acceptance, or perhaps they reflected cold, not just of winter, but of fate. Nearby, market girls paused their chatter. A dog at the edge whimpered behind a fence. There were no shouts today, just the solemn turning of a page in Tudor authority. Passing through side streets, the journey from prison to Tyburn was slow. Each step drawn out, like a muted bell toll. The crowd moved with him, watching, quiet, watching. The people of London, accustomed to public punishment, gathered not in cruelty, but in civic duty. For them it was a reminder: the king's justice is vast, and the world ordered. Feet crunched in frost, torches awaited the inevitable end of daylight. The crowd wasn't wild, it was attentive. Gentlewomen smoothed their skirts. Courtiers stood straight, some sniffled at the bitter air. A father hoisted his daughter so she might catch a glimpse over adults' heads. A mother gently hushed her child's quiet questions. When the sun touched noon, it would not hang long above the Thames, but just enough to cast long shadows across the raised platform. Hours later, the crowd disperses. London resumes. Shoemakers return to benches, tailors thread needles by candlelight, mothers hang clothes on lines slick with frost. Gossips pass muted commentary. Some speak of Catherine Howard's broken honour. Others murmur about Francis's calm standing. The ritual done, only memory remains, floating like mist through lanes and alleyways. Even in that hush, life presses on. The duck ponds are skimmed for ice. Children chase geese across a courtyard. Bakers stir sweet buns for tea. That churning of ordinary days holds the city together, even as it carries the mark of distance, of past sorrow. Now, dear listener, let us leave Tyburn behind, and the chill of winter's execution behind. We return to this very moment, your bed, your comfort, your breathing. The echo of Tudor winter drifts farther away with each slow exhale. Let the hush settle on your mind. Let candle-warm images lace into your dreams, candlelight dancing on wooden beams, the hum of a hearth in a cozy household, a child's slow breathing at your side. Francis Dereham's story reminds us how fragile human life can be, how easily love and misstep can shift one's path. But now, rest. The city is quiet, the hush is soft, and your bed is warm. And so tonight, allow sleep to come as gently as a morning mist rising off frozen stones. There is nothing left to hear but your own steady breath. The world is safe. The night is soft. You are held. Good night. Drift back through time. Feel the hush of Tudor London dissolve, and rest. Rest. Rest.